In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on February 9th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Charlotte Hornets versus Detroit Pistons. This Eastern Conference showdown is set to take place on the hardwood in the Motor City as the Charlotte Hornets prepare to face off against the Detroit Pistons on Sunday afternoon. The Hornets entered this matchup fresh off a narrow 117-116 victory at home against the San Antonio Spurs on Friday night. They managed to pull off the upset as a sizable 10-point underdog. Meanwhile, the Pistons are also riding the momentum of a strong performance, having secured a 125-112 home victory over the Philadelphia 76ers in their previous game on Friday night, despite being labeled as a 5.5-point underdog. Historically, these two teams have played each other closely in the regular season, with Charlotte holding a slim 66-65 all-time series lead. However, it was Detroit that emerged victorious in their most recent encounter, claiming a 98-94 home win on January 3rd. The Hornets are expected to take the court with their usual roster for this game, while the Pistons will be monitoring the status of both Lindy Waters and Dennis Schroeder, who are currently listed as questionable. The atmosphere within the Hornets locker room has taken a turn for the better following their thrilling 1-point victory over the Spurs, which snapped an extended 6-game losing streak. In that contest, Charlotte's dynamic duo of Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball played a crucial role, combining for an impressive 49 points, with Ball also dishing out 10 assists. Despite this recent victory, the Hornets entered Detroit as a 9.5-point underdog. They have already defeated the Pistons twice this season, with their only loss coming by just 4 points in a low-scoring game where they were without LaMelo Ball. Lately, Charlotte has been outperforming expectations against the spread, covering in 4 of their last 5 outings. Even though they have only won once in their last 7 games, they should not be underestimated in this contest. On the other hand, the Detroit Pistons are also coming off a much-needed win, which ended a brief 2-game skid. Their recent victory over Philadelphia was particularly impressive, considering they were without Cade Cunningham. In Cunningham's absence, Malik Beasley stepped up in a big way, delivering a standout performance with 36 points, including a remarkable 9 3-pointers. Additionally, Jalen Duren contributed with a strong double-double, tallying 13 points and 13 rebounds. The Pistons' success in that game was a collective effort, showcasing their ability to compete even when shorthanded. Cunningham's availability for this matchup remains uncertain, as he is considered a game-time decision. However, regardless of whether he plays, Detroit's overall game plan will remain the same. The Pistons have established themselves as one of the stronger rebounding teams in the league, and their ability to secure timely defensive stops will be crucial in their effort to slow down Charlotte. This season, all 3 meetings between these teams have been tightly contested, decided by margins of just 1, 2, and 4 points, respectively. With a fully healthy roster available, Charlotte should be able to hold its own once again in this final matchup of the season. The Hornets' recent win over San Antonio was an encouraging sign, and their 3-point shooting has been particularly effective over the past 3 games, hitting at an impressive 38.6% rate. Given that the Pistons rank 28th in the league in opponent 3-point percentage, this could be an area that Charlotte exploits to keep this game competitive. Sunday's game marks the 4th and final meeting between these teams this season. In the previous 3 matchups, the Hornets posted a 2-1 straight-up record and were a perfect 3-0 against the spread. While Charlotte has struggled overall this season, they appear to be improving as the year progresses. Though they continue to suffer losses, the margins have become narrower, signaling progress. During their recent 6-game losing streak, the Hornets were defeated by an average of 8 points per contest. This matchup also serves as the first of a grueling 9-game road trip for Charlotte, and coming off their latest win, they should be in the right mindset to compete at a high level. The combination of Bridges and Ball has been instrumental in keeping the Hornets competitive, and they have been able to cover the spread in 5 of the last 8 meetings against Detroit. Prior to their exciting victory over the Spurs, the Hornets were one of the coldest teams in the NBA. Similarly, the Pistons had been struggling before before securing a strong win over the 76ers. Detroit delivered its best overall performance of the season in that game, but sustaining that level of play might be difficult. While the Pistons need this victory to keep their slim playoff hopes alive, their inconsistency remains a concern, as they have lost 5 of their last 8 games. One of those losses came as favorites against the Atlanta Hawks. Furthermore, this marks only the 3rd time since 2020 that Detroit has been favored by 8 or more points. Historically, the Pistons have not often received this level of respect from odds makers. The Hornets have plenty of shortcomings, but with Ball back in the lineup, they have proven to be a solid team against the spread, posting a respectable 26-21-2 against the spread record this season. Given the sizable point spread, this line feels excessive. Ultimately, I still anticipate the Pistons emerging victorious at home, but the spread appears to be too wide. So the Charlotte Hornets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Charlotte currently possesses the 3rd worst scoring offense in the league while ranking last in field goal percentage and 5th worst in three-point shooting. Over the course of the season, the Hornets have played at a relatively slow pace, ranking 22nd in tempo with an average of 97.6 possessions per game. Meanwhile, Detroit's offensive production has been more middle of the road, but they have recently been scoring at a higher rate, averaging 116 points per game over their last 10 contests. The Pistons operate at a faster pace, ranking 11th in tempo with 99.3 possessions per game. Historically, matchups between these teams have tended to lean towards the under. 8 of their last 10 meetings have finished below the total, including 2 of the 3 games played this season. In those 3 meetings, the teams combined to average 217 total points per contest, though one of those games went to overtime. When they last faced off in early January, they combined for only 192 points. Given that these teams currently rank 15th and 28th in offensive efficiency, neither possesses an elite scoring unit. Charlotte's struggles in particular help bring down the overall scoring potential of the game. While Detroit ranks 7th in possessions per game at 103.4, Charlotte ranks 20th at 101.8, placing this matchup in a middle ground in terms of pace. The under has hit in 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. With missing players and new lineup adjustments on both sides, this contest is shaping up to be a lower scoring affair. As a result, the best play here is to take the under. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Houston Rockets. The Toronto Raptors are set to hit the road as they travel to Houston to face off against the struggling Rockets. The Raptors are coming off a tough stretch, having lost 4 of their last 5 games, including a defeat at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday night in Oklahoma City Thunder. Meanwhile, the Rockets are in a challenging situation of their own, as they will be playing the 2nd game of a back-to-back after going head-to-head with the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday afternoon. The Raptors have confirmed that key players R.J. Barrett, Brandon Ingram, and Jakob Poeltl will all be sidelined once again due to injuries. On the other hand, the Rockets will continue to be without the services of Fred VanVleet. The absence of these crucial players has significantly impacted both teams. Toronto has struggled to remain competitive with so many of their top contributors unavailable, while Houston has hit a season-low slump and now faces the added difficulty of playing 2 games in as many days. Both teams find themselves in a rough patch as they desperately search for a victory on Sunday. The Raptors have been struggling recently, dropping 4 of their last 5 games, and their roster remains depleted with R.J. Barrett and others unavailable. However, the Rockets are in an even worse situation, currently enduring their worst stretch of the season with 6 consecutive losses. Houston has been unable to piece together a complete performance, and that trend is likely to continue in this matchup. While they may still manage to secure a win, expecting them to cover a large spread seems unrealistic given their recent struggles. The Raptors have consistently performed well against the spread, holding an impressive 21-8-1 record as single-digit underdogs this season. Meanwhile, the Rockets have been relatively average when covering at home, going just 12-12 against the spread in their own arena. Given the current circumstances, the Houston Rockets should rightfully be considered the favorites to win this contest. However, this spread feels quite large for a team that is currently on a 6-game losing streak and is playing on the 2nd night of a back-to-back. The Raptors, in contrast, have the advantage of extra rest and have played some of their best basketball over the last month. This includes a stretch where they secured victories in 6 of their last 10 games. Since regaining some of their health, Toronto has been much more competitive and remains a profitable team to back, with a solid 30-21-1 record against the spread for the season overall. Additionally, when these two teams met earlier in the season, the Raptors pushed the Rockets to the limit before ultimately falling by just 4 points. With Toronto in better shape health health-wise than they were during that previous meeting, they should be in a good position to keep this game close. So the Toronto Raptors to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Looking at the total, the numbers suggest a low-scoring affair is likely. When playing at home, the Rockets have seen the under hit in 13 of their 24 games, with a record of 13 to 10 to 1. Similarly, the Raptors have trended toward the under in their road games, with a 13 to 11 mark. A key factor in this projection is Houston's defense, which ranks as the 6th best scoring defense in the NBA. Although Toronto has allowed their fair share of points, their offensive production has been subpar, ranking just 21st in the league in points per game. Given that both teams operate at a relatively moderate pace, sitting around the middle of the league in tempo, this matchup has all the makings of a game where points could be at a premium. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Philadelphia 76ers versus Milwaukee Bucks. Legendary sports announcer Hubie Brown is set to call his final game when the Philadelphia 76ers, who currently hold a 20-31 record, take on the Milwaukee Bucks, who stand at 27-23 in a nationally televised matchup. This will mark the third meeting between these two teams this season, with Milwaukee having secured victories in both of the previous contests, once at home and once on the road. The 76ers are coming off a disappointing road loss against the Detroit Pistons, where they fell 125-112 despite being favored by 6.5 points. Meanwhile, the Bucks are also looking to recover after suffering a 115-110 defeat at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks, failing to cover the spread as 2.5-point favorites. Philadelphia's medical staff will be keeping a close watch on Joel Embiid, whose status remains questionable for this matchup. On the other hand, Milwaukee has already ruled out their superstar forward Giannis Antetokounmpo, while Pat Connaughton is also listed as questionable. The 76ers will be eager to bounce back after their disappointing showing in Detroit, where they lost to a short-handed Pistons squad. If Embiid is able to suit up, it could provide Philadelphia with a significant boost, especially since his knee swelling has reportedly improved compared to earlier in the season. The 76ers will once again look to Tyrese Maxey to step up in this contest. Maxey has been on an impressive scoring streak, averaging over 32 points per game over his last 10 outings while shooting an efficient 50.7% from the field. In the head-to-head battle against Damian Lillard, Maxey holds a slight statistical edge, having averaged 31 points per game in their 2 meetings this season. However, if his teammates fail to provide adequate support, the 76ers could find themselves in a difficult situation. The Bucks enter this game following a frustrating loss in Atlanta, where Bobby Portis did his best to fill the void left by Giannis Antetokounmpo. Portis delivered an outstanding performance, scoring 26 points while grabbing 15 rebounds, but ultimately his efforts were not enough to secure a win. Once again, Milwaukee will be without their franchise player, which does not bode well for them, given that they have a losing record of 4-5 in games played without him this season. However, Bucks fans can find some optimism in their recent dominance over Philadelphia. Over the past 10 meetings between these teams, Milwaukee holds an 8-2 record with an average margin of victory of 7 points per game. Despite this historical success, the Bucks have been struggling in recent weeks. They have failed to cover the spread in 6 consecutive games and have managed only 1 win during this difficult stretch. Heading into this matchup, Milwaukee has dropped 5 of its last 6 games and faces another tough challenge without the presence of the former MVP. The Bucks' offensive struggles have been evident in Giannis' absence, as they lack the firepower needed to compensate for his missing production. The team's starting lineup features Andre Jackson Jr. and Taurean Prince, both of whom are primarily known for their defensive capabilities rather than their scoring ability. The recent addition of Kyle Kuzma was expected to bolster the Bucks' offense, but he has yet to find his rhythm, coming off the bench and scoring just 12 points in his most recent outing. Meanwhile, the 76ers are gradually returning to full strength, and as their key players regain their chemistry, their overall performance should improve. With Embiid and Paul George reintegrating into the lineup alongside Maxey, Philadelphia is positioning itself to be a much more formidable opponent. While Milwaukee should be favored at home, their recent performances have been underwhelming. The Bucks continue to struggle with consistency, having lost 6 of their last 8 games, with 4 of those losses coming in games where they were favored. The absence of Giannis significantly reduces their reliability, making them a much riskier bet. On the other side, the 76ers' injury situation is improving, which which is promising given that they have managed to win 6 of their last 9 games despite being shorthanded. Both teams come into this matchup with low confidence, as the 76ers have lost 4 of their last 5 games, while the Bucks have dropped 5 of their previous 6. While Philadelphia is unlikely to replicate their poor performance from Friday, trusting them against a struggling Milwaukee team missing its best player remains a challenge. That being said, this game carries more weight for the 76ers, who are currently fighting to secure a playoff spot. Having already lost both meetings against the Bucks this season, this could be the perfect opportunity for them to claim a much-needed victory. This is definitely one of those matchups where checking the lineups before tip-off is crucial. However, if Giannis Antetokounmpo is indeed ruled out, the Philadelphia 76ers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full-game side pick. The absence of the NBA's second leading scorer will have a significant impact on this game, as it removes over 31 points per game from the Bucks' offensive output. Although Milwaukee still has Damian Lillard, the team primarily operates with a defense-first mentality. With Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez serving as their second and third scoring options, the Bucks will likely struggle to generate consistent offense. Meanwhile, Philadelphia will probably have Embiid available, and even if he is not at his best offensively, his defensive presence alone will cause problems for Milwaukee's front court. The 76ers tend to play at a slow pace, ranking 28th in the league in tempo, and they slow down even further when Embiid is on the floor to allow him time to establish position in the post. Neither of these teams is known for pushing the pace, as both rank in the bottom 10 in terms of pace of play. Additionally, Milwaukee's low steal rate suggests that they will not generate many transition opportunities. The Bucks excel at protecting the paint and limiting second chance opportunities, as they frequently hold opponents to single shot possessions. However, their offense ranks near the bottom of the league in offensive rebounding, further hindering their ability to generate extra scoring opportunities. On the other side, Philadelphia's offense has struggled with consistency, particularly due to the lack of scoring depth from their bench. While the 76ers have been effective at forcing turnovers, they have not capitalized on them efficiently. The Bucks have gone under the total in each of their last 3 games, all played without Giannis. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.